can not like me, but don't lie on me. I saw someone I really respect, a black woman who's a commentator.
So you don't support him, you like his policy.
Well, I support
some specific ones named.
Beyond it, he's the governor of my state, so I have to be involved with him because I can't divorce myself. But let me say this. If you criticize someone, don't lie.
You want to talk about a show that set women back is The View. You want to talk about that show. If the CIA is engineering, Antifa and the Capitol riot, some crazy misogynist engineered The View, because there's nothing worse than The View. In terms of, like, there are so many brilliant women out there. None of them are on The View.
Whenever you think the ladies of The View have hit a new low, they somehow always manage to dig themselves in a little deeper. The show claims to be open to different voices and opinions, but if you've watched even one episode, you know that the panelists are hostile towards Republicans and people in general that don't share their far-left views. Most celebrities who come on the show roll over and allow the panelists to bully them, but not this rapper. After winning 3 Grammys and having an incredible year, Killer Mike went on the show to celebrate his success. But Sunny Hostin was quick to turn things political, but he didn't let her get away with it.
Yeah. No, you cannot stop
anything is possible.
You have to. You have to. You have to keep whatever 9-year-old, 12-year-old, 15-year-old is in your head, keep that child alive. No matter what you see in the mirror, you're still that child. And your imagination has to be bigger than the room, bigger than the building, bigger than the sky. Because if you keep the imagination alive, everything is possible.
That's right.
When you limit your imagination, nothing becomes as possible as it could be. So
it's kind of hard, trying to think of a good reason why The View still exists and who exactly watches it. But like they say, never interrupt your enemy when they're making a mistake. The prejudice, ignorance, and hostility of the women of The View probably convinced more people to vote for Trump than Joe Rogan and Elon Musk combined. Whoopi Goldberg and Sunny are always quick to pull out the race card and call themselves oppressed to win a conversation. But they couldn't do that with Killer Mike. If you haven't heard of him, Killer Mike is a rapper straight out of the Atlanta hip-hop scene. His music takes on a lot of themes and some pretty good messages because he is one of the few artists that's really good at blending hip-hop with activism. And he's the type of person that doesn't like being put in a box politically. He's as comfortable talking to Joe Rogan as he is talking to Charlemagne Tha God. He is critical of both far-left Democrats and far-right Republicans. He's the type of person that'll work with any politician as long as the people come first.
I can't be a do-boy and God bless me to around and get rich. I don't take money from any politicians or political party. So if you see me stand next to someone, it's because I really believe. And if they don't convince me to believe, I'm not going to stand next to them, right?
In addition to his music influence, Mike continued to expand his presence politically and was mostly advocating for grassroots local policies that benefited Black Americans and would go to war with anyone to fight for what he believes in. People connected to his authenticity and charisma and started paying attention whenever he spoke. Fast forward to this year, Mike's career reached even better heights. His critically acclaimed album Michael won him 3 Grammys, and Mike was on a new high. When he came on The View, you would expect this to be a celebration of Black excellence and to show a man who has achieved so much but on and off the mic. But things took a very weird turn. The resident race card user and perpetual victim of The View, Sunny Hostin, came straight at him because she somehow found something to be upset about.
I'm a former prosecutor.
Yeah.
And there were some other headlines that came out. And I was very upset about it.
Yeah.
Because it was unnecessary, and you don't do that on that special night, especially for what I read about.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to ask you is, there was an incident at the Grammys. It led to you being taken out in handcuffs and arrested. That was wrong. Obviously, it's an ongoing legal matter, so I don't know how much you can say about it.
Well, as a prosecutor, you know I can't say it.
You can't say much. But can you just give us some sort of description, because people are they're talking too much.
I think the backstage was overcrowded. I think the winners were exuberant. And I think security got a little overzealous, and that's all. It's all, it's water under the bridge for me. Yeah. I like to say all of my heroes have been in handcuffs: Malcolm, Martin, Mandela, Medgar. I walked out with the same dignity and respect that I walked in with. And I would implore people to just take that from it. Don't dwell on the past.
What she was bringing up here was a very small incident that happened the night of the Grammys. Mike was arrested by security after an altercation, but he was quickly released afterwards. It was a non-issue, at least, until Sunny brought it up, And it's crazy to think she'd been waiting to ask him about that one bad moment, rather than the outcome of the entire night. The arrest later turned into a misdemeanor battery charge, and it was an ongoing case that he couldn't talk about. As a prosecutor, you'd think she'd remember that and not just bring it up. But she did, even though Mike cannot talk about it. And it adds very little to the conversation. People who didn't know about the incident all now know about it. But Mike managed to turn it to a teachable moment, and the panelists are free to feel the way they do about the whole thing. But just when you thought they would let it go and move on to something better, their true intentions started coming out.
Equally well known for being a political activist on top of your music, and you were a campaign surrogate for Bernie Sanders. You campaigned for your home state Democratic Senators Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff.
Yep.
Yeah, and you got some attention recently for being somewhat critical of President Biden, saying you weren't ready to endorse him yet. What's your holdup there?
And didn't allow them to pressure him into endorsing Biden on air, because he's not about that. He's been attending town hall meetings since his grandma started taking him to them as a kid and told him to always look out for his neighbor, and that never left him. Mike prefers to be more involved in local politics than on the national level, and uses his resources to help those who need it the most.
So I'm duty-bound to be here to simply say that it is your duty not to burn your own house down for anger with an enemy. It is your duty to fortify your own house so that you may be a house of refuge in times of organization. And now is the time to plot, plan, strategize, organize, and mobilize. It is time to beat up prosecutors you don't like at the voting booth. It is time to hold mayoral offices accountable, chiefs and deputy chiefs. Atlanta is not perfect, but we're a lot better than we ever were, and we're a lot better than cities are.
But like clockwork, Sonny got annoyed that instead of trashing Kemp, Mike was praising the work he's done. And that was when he shut her down.
You lost me a little bit with your support of Kemp, but let me tell you this.
Not support of
some of
Kemp.
his policies.
That's some misinformation. You cannot like me, but don't lie on me. I saw someone I really respect, a black woman who's a commentator.
So you don't support him,
and
you
she
like
said,
his policies.
Well, I support
Some specific ones he named.
Beyond that, he's the governor of my state, so I have to be involved with him because I can't divorce myself. But let me say this. If you criticize someone, don't lie. Don't say I didn't support Abrams because I did. Don't say that I don't support Democrats because I've helped get 3 Democratic mayors elected. I've helped get 2 state representatives elected. But if someone is in the king's seat, I'm not going to not have dinner with the king on behalf of my people. I have to do that.
This proves that Killer Mike isn't interested in performative politics and will always align with people who will improve communities no matter their political beliefs. And if Sonny is really a journalist, maybe she should listen to what he said rather than put words in his mouth. It's this kind of attitude that allows Mike's message to remain consistent, and you'd never catch him compromising on his principles and beliefs just to be a politician's tool. And maybe it's something the ladies of The View would learn to do one day, but you'd have a better chance waiting for Kamala to become president one day than that ever happening.